Another three planes and a radar system were destroyed by Ukraine last night. So something's going on. Something is happening that wasn't happening just 2 months ago. It is September 25th, and since August 1st, oil refineries, oil depots, planes, helicopters have been just going up in smoke. There's something to the story, and I'll tell you before we get done. Okay, Russian monitoring channels report multiple UAV threats. This was last night as I was going to sleep across multiple regions. Several drone groups are detected heading toward occupied Crimea and Donbass. Okay, so that's like one of the last things I saw. And then got up early this morning. Here's what I found. Ukrainian Air Force reports a downing of a Russian Su-34 around 4 a.m. on September 25th. A Russian Su-34 aircraft was shot down while carrying out strikes on the city of Zaporizhia. One of the things that is interesting to my mind is that Ben Hodges, for example, was talking about how, look, Russia doesn't control the air. They don't have this air superiority that everybody thought that they would have, so they're failing there. They're failing in the Black Sea with the so-called Black Sea Fleet. Like, there's nothing really to speak of there. Russia can't bring its air power to bear because if it gets too close, this kind of thing happens. Okay, minus this Russian Su-34 jet, Ukrainian warrior shot down this Su-34 fighter bomber in Zaporizhia direction. The aircraft carried out attacks on the city of Zaporizhia using guided aerial bombs, but it got too close and it's no longer with us. Even fighter bomber, the Russian mill blogger, confirmed the loss of this Su-34 to Ukrainian fire, and that was early this morning. Now, you also saw this. So two Russian let's turn that off. Two Russian AN-26 transport aircraft and a surface radar station. Here's the radar station. It's a MR-10M1. That was destroyed by drones, and you're seeing that. And then you see the first AN-26 transport plane, and in just a little bit, you'll see the second. Well, there's the first one here, and you'll see the second AN-26 also being attacked last night. It's pretty amazing what has just happened, just in a day. Drones reportedly struck an ammunition warehouse in Russian-occupied Luhansk. The first clip captures the secondary detonations. You're not going to watch that. In a second, a drone sound is audible, followed by Russian anti-aircraft guns. So you can hear that. I'm not sure if it's loud enough for you, but yeah, that's what was happening last night. Okay, let's turn that off. Drones indeed struck a chemical plant in the Krasnodar region. Here we see unmanned systems. Operators adjusted a HIMARS strike on a Russian artillery position, destroying a truck and ammo depot, damaging a gun. Ukraine report, again, back to that chemical plant in Krasnodar Krai. An explosion and smoke were filmed at the Eurochem facility. Russia confirmed the fire and debris from UAVs. Okay, they can never admit that UAVs actually hit their plants. Factory produces key components for explosives and gunpowder, so it was a legitimate target. This was a couple days ago, but it's still something cool to see. Ukrainian Lutsy kamikaze drone was captured on the thermal camera by Russian counter-drone unit. So they're all over in the sky, and yeah. Now, yesterday, I was talking about Novorossiysk, and I saw, among other things, and I think a comment about it that some are saying, like, I was saying, what's there? Okay, we know that Russian military base was somewhere near there, okay, they hit these buildings. We don't know exactly what they hit or why. Che Baos, the Russian propagandist, put out this: Ukraine has just attacked civilian buildings and a hotel in Novorossiysk. Drones struck the city center in the middle of the day. Unfortunately, there are casualties. Preliminary information reports 2 dead and many injured. So from that angle, it looks pretty bad. Till you go and look at the rest of the story. Smoke is rising from Novorossiysk after Ukraine attacked the coastal city. Again, the question is why? Ukrainian forces struck at the heart of Russia's oil export machine. The drone attack paralyzed Russian oil export hubs. 2 million barrels daily capacity was hit. So that's what they were going after. I thought it was going to be something related to military, but okay. Naval drones and naval drones strike Novorossiysk. 5 residential buildings and a hotel damaged, according to the Krasnodar governor. Okay, now, were they damaged? Possibly, even probably. Was it electronic warfare? Possibly, even probably. Were they trying to hit the hotel? Probably not. Because if there's an oil hub or a hotel, the Ukrainians will go after the oil depot or refinery or whatever every time. Pipeline, whatever it is, not going after a hotel. So my guess is that if they hit a hotel, it missed whatever was targeting, or there was electronic warfare or something along those lines. Here it is in the Kyiv Post. Ukrainian naval drones attacked a key Russian logistics hub on the Black Sea, port of Novorossiysk and Tuapse, according to Kyiv Post. The strike disabled the Transneft oil complex on the Caspian and the Caspian Pipeline Consortium terminal used to load crude onto Russia's shadow fleet. These facilities can export up to 2 million barrels per day. So are they going to go after a pipeline that exports crude to the shadow fleet or a hotel? I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer. Here's Anna from Ukraine explaining just what happened in this event.
Hello guys, and 2 major Russian oil export ports were seriously damaged and stopped working after the visit of Ukrainian marine and aerial drones to Tuapse and Novorossiysk. Before the attack...
Hey, I didn't say Tuapse too badly, did I? I mean, I listened to her say it, and I was very close.
These ports were able to export approximately 2 million barrels of the bloody Russian oil, but not anymore. You can also recognize Novorossiysk as the new home of the leftovers of the Russian Black Sea Fleet, because after they had to escape from Ukraine and we kept destroying their warships, they relocated to Novorossiysk.
But okay, and that's what I had thought it was. I thought it was going after military, but it was going after oil.
Even there, we reached them with marine and aerial drones. And this is another important reminder. The war of the 21st century is the war of drones, and NATO needs Ukrainian experience, especially in the context when the Kremlin constantly provokes NATO countries like Poland, like Estonia, like Denmark, and I'm sure...
And you're going to see some of that later on in this video. Okay, following the appearance of unknown aircraft, presumably Russian, operating on the Alaskan airspace surveillance area, the U.S. Airstrikes triggered a E-3 AWAC aircraft, a KC-135 tanker, and several fighter jets. Such incidents are routine, not considered imminent threat. So Russia had fighters right on the Alaska coastline. Now, remember, we're neighbors. We're right. I mean, Russia is right across the water. It's like, what, 2 miles, 10 miles, something like, I mean, it's really close between the closest point of Alaska and the closest point of Russia, which are 2 islands that are right near each other in the middle of the Bering Strait. Well, but not in the middle of the Bering Strait, right up on top where Russia and you know what I mean. Okay. And so this was confirmed. I saw this in other news. I don't think there's much to see about there, but there's a lot of this kind of thing that seems to be going on. Okay. So last night, what did Russia do? 136 attack drones overnight. Ukrainian air defense shot down or suppressed 150 of them. 13 drones hit 8 locations. There wasn't really a lot to see or report there, but we saw other interesting things. So in Swindon, nothing is clear yet, but there's already talk that it was a Russian sabotage and that the weapons intended for Ukraine exploded in the warehouses. Swindon, what are we talking about? Do you know where Swindon is? Swindon is here, United Kingdom. What the what? What? Yeah, so there was a warehouse that went up in Swindon, and yeah, this was the site where the UK's largest drone factory was planned to be built, and it was a warehouse intended for Ukraine supplies or something along those lines. Okay, now we also see Russian military aircraft. This has just been reported. Russian military aircraft made dangerous low passes on German warship Hamburg over 2 days on September 19th and 20th during NATO's Neptune strike exercises in the Baltic Sea. Europeans did nothing. So the bad behavior just keeps adding up, right? Drones were spotted over Aalborg Airport and led Denmark to shut down the airspace last night. Police say the drones flew with lights on and stayed nearly 3 hours. The case follows similar disruptions in Copenhagen and Oslo. It's like, what's going on here? Here's a little bit more with that. Tonight, unidentified drones are flying over multiple critical sites and airfields across Denmark. Multiple commercial airports have suspended flights, and drones were spotted over Skydstrup Air Base, a key Royal Danish Air Force installation. Yeah. So, and again, Swindon, like all the way out here. So Russia's bad behavior seems to be just continuing. And so, yeah, that's where we are. Let's look at the battlefield. 940. Again, we're looking at 1,000 as just the average. If we're going to get to another 100,000 casualties, that would be 1,200,000 casualties by the end of the year, by the 31st of December. So it's 940 last night. 2 armored fighting vehicles, 38 artillery systems, 120 vehicles and fuel tanks, and 1 aircraft. And we'll see a few more tomorrow. Okay, cross direction, 47 assaults on Ukrainian positions. So that's about right for the number of casualties. This is from the Euromaidan Press. Ukrainian radio intercepts document Russian commander ordering a civilian massacre on the frontline areas. A couple was executed, their child kidnapped. Here's a little bit more to this. Quote, "You will have to kill people, kill everyone indiscriminately, except children," the Russian commander, with call sign Bali, yells to his subordinates as they intercepted radio communication reveals by Ukraine's Third Army Corps. They intercepted this command. Russian troops in Donetsk Oblast followed his orders precisely. They entered the family's home, shot the parents. Their daughter was taken alive. The child must be constantly under supervision. Keep her somewhere separately. She must not see the dead bodies. Feed her and give her water. Russian forces are now using the girl as cover for their military advance toward Liman. This prevents Ukrainian troops from firing on their positions. Yep. So that's what's happening. Meanwhile, Russian occupier Alexei Smirnov has a message from the front. Guys, don't come here to fight in Ukraine. Think about your children. This isn't our war. There are 20 of us. I'm the only one left. The rest are 200. So I think by that he's saying the rest are essentially dead. Let's look at what the captioning has to say.
Smirnov Alexei.
Okay, let's see if it'll... Okay. I already ran this once for the captioning connection. There are only 200 here, or there were more than 20 people when I was left alone. These blanks forgot about us. Our command is blanking blank. Look, guys, see for yourself. I don't know these guys. Look what knowledge has become of this. This is Jeka, and he's pointing at someone. I was in the same boat with him, and he is no longer with us. So that's what the captioning is saying, right? Yeah. Yeah. So it's bad. It's bad. And the Russian commanders, they do so little to take care of their people. It's really remarkable. Okay. Let's look at this. Russian forces are now forced to hide their armored vehicles far from the front lines due to Ukrainian assaults. Yet pilots of Ukraine's 63rd Mechanized Brigade successfully hunted down a camouflage tank covered among the trees. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at. And you just can't hide. So, again, yesterday I showed you 55 kilometers strike with drones. So these drones are going to widen out the areas between the armies where they're just not going to be able to really contest that no man's land. That's what's coming. Okay. I talked about the United States scrambling the fighter jets, and Poland is now changing their rules of the game and plans to shoot down Russian drones without NATO approval. This is different. Without NATO approval. Warsaw wants to amend a law to give its military the right to destroy Russian targets in Ukraine's airspace without asking for permission from the alliance or the European Union. The current regulation from 2022 requires Poland to obtain approval from allies. The new initiative will make the Polish army more independent. Now, that's kind of more dangerous, but it also allows them to respond in a way that they couldn't before because the bureaucracy was kind of slowing everything down. All right. Now, I told you that you're going to see something here with why. What's the why? So my question when I started was like, all these things are happening. Why are they happening? Why are things getting shot down? Why are oil refineries getting destroyed and oil depots and things along these lines? This may be an answer. Not sure. But according to Zelensky in an interview with Axios, Trump gave the green light for strikes against Russia if the Russian military continues targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure. I don't know if that happened before or after, or if they just started doing this, but maybe. I don't know. Tell me what you see, and we'll just try to make some sense out of it together. All right, shout out goes to Alex Kilmoff. He's a board member. He is a Patreon board member, and one of the people that adds more to the conversation than almost anybody else. And so, Alex, thank you for your time and your support, and I really appreciate it. For the rest of you, thank you for listening so far, for the likes that helps this video spread, for the comments, and I try to get to as many as I can. And thank you more than anything for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.